business. Okay, so glad y'all are here. So I really want this to be a training once a month that's just kind of special for you guys. I feel like there's so many things in the business that we can overwhelm people with when they're new, or when they're a new silver, or they're a new senior silver, and they're just not necessary yet. And you guys know my heart is to keep things simple, because too much information is just no good and it overwhelms us. So we're going to talk about that today. So while there's things, like I said, talking about a funnel, creating a simple funnel, and just some different things about leadership stuff and project broadcast and when that comes into play and all of that. Like, we obviously need to do a training on the back office. That was the #1 thing that was voted on, and that's been my #1 area of weakness. So I'm not surprised it's my team's #1 weakness. And also it's really not a wonderfully set up back office, if we're being honest. So we're definitely going to do a training on that. It'll be one of the next couple of ones. But I want to talk today about something in a different way than we have before. So I know, hold on, let me look at my notes so I stay on target with this here, that developing silvers is something, it's like the thing that I talk about all the time. It's the thing that corporate has me talk about all the time. It's been like my #1 strength in the business. And my heart is to have it be yours too. We all have different strengths, but this is something that everyone kind of needs to figure out how to do to really scale a business. But the thing is that so it's just really helping. How can you help your people share about this with others, refer friends and family, so that you guys can start to pop silvers? And from talking to many of you one-on-one, I know this is something that you guys know is important to scale your business, and you want to do better at it, but you feel like you are not. And you might be asking your people to share, and then they don't respond. Maybe they just ghost you. Maybe they express interest in learning more about how they can get the cost of their products covered, and then they just like do nothing. Maybe you feel like none of your people are interested in getting the products covered or interested in the business. And I know that that can be incredibly frustrating because it can just make you feel stuck. So today, before I give you anything tactical and practical, I would be doing you a major disservice if I didn't coach you guys on your mindset surrounding this first, because I have heard many of you in one-on-one chats with me tell me, I just can't develop silvers. I just don't attract people who want this business. I just can't get anyone to share. And I want you to know that it is not that you can't get anyone to share. That's the problem. It is not that you can't get anyone to silver. That's the problem. And it is not that you cannot get business builders. That is the problem. You think that's the problem, but the problem is your thoughts, and that you think that you can't, and that what you think is what you're doing isn't working. Anything that you think will eventually show up as your results. Hold on, let me check and make sure that nobody else hopped on. Okay. And if you believe that you can't get anyone to share, you're going to feel emotions like deflated, discouraged, unworthy. And then in your actions, you will avoid sharing about the referral program or the business with people. You'll avoid tagging people in those posts I make about the referral link event or the business event or getting the cost of their products covered. You'll avoid reaching out to them one-on-one to ask them if they're interested in those things. You'll avoid going live about it. You'll avoid doing an event for your new VIPs, like a sip and share if you've got, or a sip and see if you've got people locally, etc. And that is why you will keep getting the same result. It is not your thoughts, it is your actions. And the thing is, I know sometimes it can feel really junky, like when we have this thought, right? Like, I just can't develop silvers. I can't get anyone to, I can't attract business builders, whatever. But again, the problem is the fact itself, right? It doesn't hurt you. It's our thoughts about the white lines in our back office, the points that we see, the lack of people upgrading to ambassador or sharing, or lack of the number of silvers that we look at. That fact in and of itself is just a fact. It's, it doesn't have any kind of like money. It's our feelings about it that make it mean something, but it's an inanimate object. It's just like the number on the scale. The number on a scale is just a circumstance. It's a fact. Your body weighs 120 or 160 or 230 pounds at this point, but it's our thoughts that we attach to that are making us feel a certain way, which is usually negative. And so the thoughts are what hurt us. And the facts themselves are harmless, but the stories that we tell ourselves about those facts are completely optional. We cannot control our circumstances. We cannot control whether Sally shares. We cannot control, like sometimes what our team is doing. We can't control what our team is doing. We can control and choose our thoughts. So nobody else can hurt your feelings, but you can hurt your feelings based on what you think about what they said or didn't say, about what they did or didn't do. Did she hurt your feelings? No, you hurt your feelings with what you thought about what she said and what you made it mean. Nobody, in a similar fashion, nobody else can get you or not get you results in your business. That's on you. It's not on your downline. It's not on your VIPs. It's not on me as your upline. But instead of telling yourself a story that is keeping you stuck, that is not serving you, and that is making you feel discouraged, you need to start telling yourself a story that actually serves you, that will make you feel empowered and help you get the results that you want in your business. Does that make sense? Drop me something in the chat, in the comments. I see Val nodding. It's a big concept. And I've shared with you guys before, when I paid $5,000 and hired a business coach, I'm like, enough, Rachel. I don't need this mind drama. Tell me exactly what to put in the funnel, what to send out in this message, what to do that I'm not doing. And she's like, bless her. She's like, she just doesn't understand that her mind is 90% of it. And then what she's actually doing, the content of the post, the content of the message, she's obsessing over that. That's not the thing that matters most. It's her thoughts that are behind it, that are driving these feelings, that are driving these actions, right? Yes, Val, definitely going to give you some examples. We're actually going to coach live here on this before we go into some tactical stuff. So what I want to do to help you apply this is I want you to take a minute to write down, if you're not driving or if you have a pen and paper, if you can, or maybe if you can, if you're, not actually driving, where you can talk or type into the notes section of your phone. I want you to write down 3 kind of biggest thoughts, negative thoughts that you have been having about your business. And then we're going to put them into this thought model and change these unintentional thoughts into intentional ones that actually serve you, because this is really powerful. And this is the thing that's going to help you get unstuck and create different results. I'm going to go grab my whiteboard. I forgot to bring it up from downstairs while you guys do that. And don't, just what's true for you. It shouldn't be that hard, because honestly, the thoughts are kind of perpetual for us. And it's just probably the biggest couple of things that you've been hearing yourself say, or that you're feeling discouraged about in your business. I just can't X, Y, Z. Okay, so if you need it, take another minute, but I would love it if you would be willing to share in the comments, either one of yours. I know sometimes it's personal, but I feel like this is a safe space and we're such an encouraging team. But that will help me not only to know, to be able to help you and mentor you and coach you, but I also think it's important because what we're going to do is have somebody, whoever wants to, I'm just going to kind of actually coach you live on this if you're willing, so that you can all see how I do this and how powerful it is to train our brains and coach our mind. And this is where, Val, you're going to see how we can actually take something and plug it into the model, and then how we change the story, just so everyone can see how that's done. And this is supposed to be a daily practice, just like I was telling somebody yesterday, the day before, a lot of times we read our Bible, but we don't renew our minds. So like we'll read something and we just kind of leave it there. Just like you can read 10 minutes of personal development and just check the box and be like, I did my personal development today, but nothing changes. We learn by repetition. So like when you read a book, you're taking it in once, right? When you highlight it, sometimes like you're going back, I've learned to like read a chapter 2 times, and then it sticks a little bit more, and then to write down those couple big takeaways. And then like the Remarkable 2 tablet that like a lot of us have just earned, you can actually like underline, but you can actually write notes in the margin. You can write that, and then you can type it up. And so Rachel, thank you for sharing. And Tanisha, thank you for sharing. So nobody wants to share. I'm annoying people. That's definitely a really powerful story to be telling yourself. Nobody wants to share. I'm not smart enough to do this. I can't develop silvers. Is this really the right vehicle for me? I'm not surprised that that's one of your fails, because I feel like that's showing up. And that's why certain things can hurt a little bit more too, if we're already really shaky. Like I look at like when I started, when we chose not to vaccinate at the very beginning, when I was exposed to information and we made that choice for our family, when somebody else said something to me about that decision, not only did it really hurt me, but somebody would say something and it would throw me into a tailspin of like, oh my gosh, maybe my children will die if this happens, because maybe I am making the wrong choice, because I hadn't done enough research and I wasn't solid in our decision. And it left me open to getting hurt and to feeling confused and to being like what Jesus says we're not supposed to be, which is like a wave of the sea that's tossed here and there, because I wasn't rooted in that decision, or rooted in the fact that he's called you here and all that. So, okay. So is there anybody, you can raise your hand on the little thing where it says like raise hand, that wants to be coached on one of theirs. Because I certainly don't want to like just pick somebody that's like, I don't really want to. And I will say it actually benefits you a lot to just watch other people get coached, because you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. And that applies. And like, oh my gosh, like, yes. Okay. I see Val. Okay. Awesome. Okay, Val, is there one? So maybe I think it's probably a good idea, if you're okay with it, to pick number 1, because I feel like that speaks a lot to what we're talking about today. And that is something that I think everybody is kind of saying right now. Like Rachel said, nobody wants to share. And Tanisha said, where was it? Nobody wants to share. So this is a good one, because you can all benefit from doing it. So I don't know what my children have done to my whiteboard, because there's still lots of lines everywhere. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, so I actually bought this journal from Emily Gibson because Rachel Bodie gave me a packet with this same thought model. This is what they teach if you get a $25,000 life coaching certification. This is what they teach you, is this really powerful thought model. And again, like I was saying with scripture or personal development, it's really memorizing the scripture and speaking it over ourselves. And then when we have that knee-jerk reaction to have anxiety about something, right? Or whatever, that we say, wait, 1 Peter 5:7, cast your anxiety on the Lord because he cares for you. Like whatever it may be, or you have this monologue, like I'm just a mess. Like, why am I always such a mess? And that's a really toxic lie. And that's what I mind. But then to say, wait a minute, I am not a mess. I am a masterpiece. And you take a scripture like I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Like I am a holy priesthood. I am whatever it is that you've pulled out that speaks to you. That's where the renewing of your mind happens. And we start to change those thoughts. Okay, so let's plug this into the model. So I'm going to try to do this in a way that hopefully y'all can see. So the circumstance and the thought, we have to understand the difference. And like Tanisha is going through this coaching program with me, the 5 days right now with Emily Gibson. And so is Katie, and it's about train your brain. And it's really all about exactly this. And we're talking about the difference between facts and stories, or that's what we talked about yesterday. So it's important to understand what's fact. So Val, you can unmute yourself, or you can use the chat, whatever you want. Is I cannot get people to share their story a fact?
No.
It probably feels like a fact, right? It feels like a fact, but it's actually what?
An assumption.
Yeah.
Or like just a thought. Yeah.
It's a thought. So that's where we plug it into the model is I can't, I'm going to try to make this big enough, get anyone to share. And then very often the circumstance, it can be different. But like, for example, in a circumstance could be you hop on the scale. The circumstance is you got on the scale and the scale said 200 pounds. And then your thought is, I'm fat. So the fat isn't the fact. The fact is what's on the scale. The weather today is a fact. But even if I said to you, Val, it's really cold outside today, that's actually not a fact. That's my opinion. And the same day you might be like, this is a beautiful day. You know, like someone in Buffalo might think that a 50-degree day is really warm. And somebody in Georgia might be like, this is really cold, right? So we have to learn, and this is actually a really hard part of this, to discern the difference between the circumstance and the thought. So a circumstance might be, I developed 1 silver this month, or perhaps it would be, I developed 0 silvers last month. So is there a circumstance, Val, recently that made you feel this way? Like maybe you talked to Letitia about this and she said, I'm not interested in sharing.
Yeah, I had like 5 people interested in like when we did that like referral chat in there, and then following up with them and none of them responded to me.
Okay, so
no response, I guess, after showing interest. Probably it would be like more like the fact or a circumstance.
Okay, so I had 5 people interested. That is a fact from the referral chat. But when I followed up, I'm gonna squeeze this in. I should have left more space. When I followed up, no one, I promise that the second half of this call, no one answered. I do have some things that you guys can actually change that I've been realizing interested, or no one answered, that you guys can share that will help you. But this is the most important part. So we got to start with this. So that is a circumstance that actually happened. And then it made Val have the thought, I can't get anyone to share, which makes sense, right? So now the feeling, Val, how did that make you feel when you thought, when these people then didn't answer and you thought, I can't get anyone to share? How did that make you feel if you could sum it up in one word?
One word.
I mean, you can use a couple. I know we can.
I felt discouraged, but I think more so like, what's wrong with me? Like, am I not showing up the way I need to show up? Am I not the leader I need to be? So it's just kind of funneled down into these like more in depth, more about my worth than just a feeling.
Well, that's the first word that came to my mind that I've learned. I always used to say discouraged and stuff, but a lot of times I've realized the real problem is that it makes me feel unworthy. And then that's a really not, but any of it is not a good emotion. And like you said, that's an important thing to point out. It's actually a negative spiral, and we have to stop it. And the way we stop it is by thinking a new thought and taking that thought captive. I love that this is so actually biblical and practical. So, so then here's the problem. So the model is simply this. It's never going to change. It's CTFAR. So there's a circumstance and then a thought. There's a feeling that those thoughts create. So the circumstance usually evokes a thought in us, and then the thought creates a feeling. The feeling drives our actions, and the action is going to bring the result that we're getting. So the A is the action. Can you see that, Rachel? So the action is, and I can take a picture of this too and send it in the chat after, or I can just type this out. But the action, Val, so what does it make you feel like? What after you reached out and those people just ghosted you? You did what you were supposed to do. You followed up, and then nothing. And then you have this thought and you feel this way, which is discouraged. Did you take any action after that? To tag them in something, or did you kind of just almost go in hiding with those people? Like, what would you say? Sometimes it's we go to the couch with bonbons. Sometimes it's we take the day off of work. Sometimes it's that like, there's a lot of things that we can do. Maybe we avoid something, or we stop doing something, or we start doing something that's kind of negative. But can you identify anything, any action you took or didn't take from that?
I feel like I followed up with a few of them that, so I did refollow it. But I think avoidance is probably, avoid talking about that particular thing specifically with them, because then I'm like, well, I don't want to keep annoying you with this, right? So again, another feelings of just like, so avoidance and inaction probably.
Yep. And I know that if Emily was the one running this call, which she is going to run a call for us over the next month, so that's fun, because she's the master of this and she's got the certification to be plugging things into the model, and I don't. Rachel Bodie seems to think that I can do this well, but I don't know. But we're going to try anyways. So she would probably say, like, she wants a specific, like, I chose not to go live that night, or I was going to make a post, but then I just didn't. There's usually specific things, right? But you're right. They do all stem back to typically avoidance. And then the result is what? In this case, you may need help with this, because I know I did at the beginning. The result is you're not developing silvers. You're not getting people to share, right? Not getting people to share or to silver. So this is what we call, I'm not going to have enough room because of how I wrote. I should have done it the long way. That was really dumb. To put them next to each other, because it is powerful to see it. I'll take a picture of this. So this is what we call an unintentional thought model. The problem is we are having hundreds of these unintentional thoughts. Oh, Candace, is she here? I'm so confused. Candace texted me and she's like, I'm getting ready. I'm so excited. I'm on. Did she go into I guess I'll just send her. Hold on, guys, sorry. So that's an unintentional thought. And the problem is that we have so many of those. So we need to learn how to kind of stop them and retrain our brain. And so our brain is always looking for negative and it wants to keep us safe. And so it's like, yeah, Val, this is not working. Like, you just stop doing that. Like, it's people might not like you if you do that. People might just avoid you if you do that. This is obviously not working. What you're doing isn't working. So stop doing that, because I just don't want you to keep getting, a lack of a result that's making you feel unworthy. And really, it's kind of like it's on our side. But I look at it like the enemy, how the enemy is so snake-like, and he makes it seem like he wants what's best for you, but it's actually not what's best for you. And so I think that this is that same kind of a thing, because the problem is this thought, I can't get anyone to share, is hurting you. It's not serving you. It's holding you back in your business. For each of you that I think all of you are speaking this right now over yourself. I'm going to take a picture just because I know, and then I'll rewrite it in an intentional model. So Val, when you said like, how do I change my story? This is how, but it's also the repetition with this of doing it over and over again. So in case anybody missed it, like, this is what's on there. Hopefully you can read it and my handwriting isn't too messy. So, and I can also tell you, just to encourage you, that I thought this oops, I shouldn't have erased that. So the circumstance actually stays the same, because that's the thing that's fact that's not changing. So I had 5 people interested from the referral link event. But when I followed up, no one answered. So that is a fact that actually happened. It's the circumstance. It's not good or bad. Now, I know most of you right now, because this is new, you're thinking, no, Kim, that's bad. That's not what we want. Here's why this actually isn't bad. Your story is nobody answered, so nobody's interested, right? How many of you have seen a message from me, from someone on this team, from a potential client, from a current client, when you were at a stoplight, when you were busy, when you were somewhere, and you saw the message, but you didn't have the time to respond, and then you forgot about it? Put a 1 in the comments or raise your hand. Okay, we've all done it. The problem is we forget, and that's just one example, that when we're on this side of it, we tend to make things in our businesses mean something about ourselves all the time. So like, Val, what you said really resonates with me, because that's actually what I do. It's a strength and a weakness of mine. And I'm having to learn to invest in my brain to help me use and choose thoughts that are going to serve me. Because what I do is I have never blamed upline or my team or my VIP, anything for a lack of results. That's great, right? That's extreme business ownership. But here's the problem. I tend to berate myself and blame myself for everything. So while it's good to take ownership, it is not good to be like, well, you just can't get anybody to share because what you're doing isn't working. And I know I heard you say that, like maybe what I'm doing just isn't working, or I'm just not the leader that my people need to be. And it usually is this negative spiral. Hey, Candace, so glad you're on. We're talking about, how to create, silvers, get our people to share, get them to refer friends and family, because everyone feels like they're struggling with that. But we're going to talk about it in a different way. We've been talking about how the thoughts that we're telling ourselves are really what's holding us back before we go into some practical stuff. And I've got this recorded so you can catch up on that part too. But so Val, the circumstance then, I had 5 people interested from the referral link event, but when I followed up, no one answered. Now, potentially these people are busy. Potentially they saw the message and didn't answer. Sometimes they didn't even see the message yet. Sometimes they legitimately reached out because they're interested, but it's not their time yet. Maybe they're scared. I had 2 girls this week tell me that they were ready to make their story, and I followed up about it. And I found out that one of them was like, I am just so busy right now. I was like, would you like me to write your story for you? I'm like, I don't love it because it's not super authentic, but I can plug your messages into a template and then you can edit it to make it more yours. And she's like, that would be so helpful. Thank you so much, because I'm just so busy. And I'm going to share more about that when we get to the tactical side of this. But the other girl was like, she filled out my business mentorship form. She wants to make like at least $1,000 a month with this. She had started the products, quit before, came back. She has literally been commenting on my post. She has asked for more interest about the business. She was in the referral link event, and guess who hasn't made a post yet or even answered my last couple messages? Now, the old Kim in my Beachbody days would have absolutely made that mean something about me. What I am wise enough to know now is that means something about her. She's either not ready yet, she's scared, it's not her time, she's busy. And your brain is so wired, Val, probably in thinking this way like mine is, that when Rachel Bodie would tell me these things and coach me on my brain, I'd be like, you're just saying these things to make me feel good about myself. But like, I don't want you just to tell me a lie that's going to make me feel good. Like, hold on. Like, what if I am the problem? And then when I would hear her coach other people, I would be like, gosh, she's just telling everybody like things to make them feel good. Like, and this one, anyways, I won't give you examples. I have lots of examples, but that is because that is a well-worn path in my mind that is used to crucifying myself for everything and beating myself up and making everything mean something about me. Now I've grown in this, but it's required a lot of investing and a lot of work and a lot of practicing this thought model. So just be encouraged that growth is possible and you can get better at this and you can retrain your brain. But this is really like such an incredible tool to do that. So I have 5 people interested from the referral link, but when I followed up, no one thought. So no one was interested. Based on what I just told you and the unintentional thought that you had before, which is that no one is like, I'm just not good at getting people to share, or I can't get my people to share and no one's interested. What thought could you tell yourself based on that circumstance that is not going to discourage you? And that is actually going to help drive the feelings that will drive the actions that will give you the results that you want. And I can help, but just see what you come up with first, because it does take some practice. It's like a whole new way of thinking.
I need to share my story more. If that, I don't know, or
No, I know. It felt really weird for me too. That's probably more the action. And usually, by the way, I forgot to say this, you can have multiple A's. So sometimes there would be 5 actions. She always wanted us to pick one thought, because I have so many thoughts that I'd be like, I just can't develop silvers. I'm just not a good leader. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not smart enough. And she's like, whoa, we got to plug one into the model, right? So we have to like land the plane and pick one. And I picked this one because all of you have this, so everyone can benefit from coaching on it. But an action that will help you is sharing your story more, absolutely. But the thought is the biggest and most important thing that you can have about. So I'll just throw out some examples and you can say what feels best to you. But like one could be, that's more, so basically whatever your goal is, let's say you want to go emerald. In order to go emerald, in order to go ruby, in order to go to senior ruby, you really could not get past gold in this business on your own without popping silvers. It is darn near impossible unless you are somebody who is recruiting like 30 people a month. And those people, I'll say what Chelsea said to Tanisha at Leaders. They're unicorns. I'm not a unicorn. I think people think I am, but in general, the truth is I am in a very weird minority. So the truth is that high recruiting is usually 8 people a month, 6 people a month, 10 people a month. I consider that high recruiting on my team. So if you are doing that, you will kind of probably always feel like your team is not growing, or you're backsliding with points, or you're staying where you are and you're never really growing unless you're developing solvers. So this is a really important thought that we want to have the right one. So you got to think about, what thoughts would I be having if I'm an emerald, acting as if you're already at your goal? Like my emerald self or my ruby self might say, if I had 5 people from that referral link event that said they were interested and they didn't answer, what's a thought that I could have? What would I have if I'm an emerald? And I can tell you, being an emerald, I'm too busy to notice who didn't get back to me. There's way too many people I'm talking to every day for me to really realize, like, oh gosh, those 5 people. Now I do go back, like on my to-do list today is making sure that people from the referral link event are getting into that business chat if they haven't taken any action yet, or if they want more information on the business, right? So like, I will reach back out, like you said, following up, but I don't make it mean anything about me. I'm too focused on the people that need this and the people that I need to help to dwell on the people that don't. That's just where I'm at now. So if you can borrow from that, if this happened in the future, I tell you that my thought would be, possibly one of them you could pick is, those 5 people just aren't ready yet, or it just isn't their time. And just notice that the emphasis then is on them versus you making the emphasis in making that circumstance mean something about you. And that's the really powerful shift to have in your mind, is like, I had 5 people interested. When I followed up, no one answered. Thought, which one kind of feels better to you or sounds like something you could hear yourself saying and actually believing? It's going to feel a little bit foreign at the beginning, but like something that might actually make you kind of feel more encouraged about it versus discouraged.
I would say they haven't made time for it yet. Like, they haven't made time to look through. They haven't made it a priority, I guess.
Yeah. So we can just say, maybe they haven't,
maybe they need more information, or maybe they, yeah.
So maybe
they haven't made the time.
Yeah. So that is one thought, and that thought is actually probably true. When I follow up from our events, like an info session, the number one thing that I'm hearing now all across the board from anything I follow up with is, like, people are expressing interest all the time, and then they're not actually reading the post that we're tagging them in or reading the ebook. And if you guys are following up, Tanisha's nodding, you're finding this as well. And again, content coming at the end of the call is going to help tell you what I think we should do about this, because I'm always figuring out how to troubleshoot. But the thing is I show you guys know this, right? Because Val, here's the funny thing. You had this happen. You told yourself that it means something about you. Yet you have signed up for Jordan Lee Julie's workshop. How many different workshops and things have you signed up for, or books have you gotten that you haven't read yet or haven't done anything with? Now, is that a reflection on Jordan Lee Dooley? Does that mean her Own It Academy isn't good? No. And if you sign up for Train Your Brain with Emily Gibson and don't do anything with it, is that a reflection on Emily Gibson? No. And we know this, but we do this to ourselves all the time in network marketing, and we have to be careful. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe this is not the right time yet. Maybe you're someone who tends to collect information and isn't taking as much action yet. Either way, those things are reflecting on you. Not Emily, not Jordan, whatever. We need to understand that this is not, and again, this is going to feel foreign, because again, my knee-jerk reaction is, that's a hullabaloo. I need to do this better. I need to change what I'm doing. And we're going to talk about some things that you can change. But the biggest thing is your mind. Because Rachel, how does it make you feel when you have a thought that I just can't share? I can't get people to silver. I'm not smart enough, or I can't do this like Kim does. I know you're not smiling when you think that thought. You're probably crying usually, aren't you? Yeah. You feel super broken down. It doesn't make you feel good. And then the problem is the action that you're taking from that place is negative, and it's going to keep you in the same place. Y'all tell me all the time, I just want you to run events for me, and I just want you to talk to my people because your passion and your belief is so contagious. Do you know what people are buying from me? It's belief. That's the thing. My belief is selling them every time because they can hear. And I see a lot of you growing in this, the confidence, the conviction, and the passion. And it's helping them believe that maybe this really will work for them because they're coming in with all of their own past experiences and their junk and their mental mindset and thoughts and dramas and stories that are making them think this might just be another thing that doesn't work for me. These are real people, you guys. They're busy like us. We make excuses for ourselves all day long. Well, I just didn't have time to watch Kim's video. Should it mean something about me and my leadership or my team page if you haven't done the training yet that I killed myself making a couple months ago? That's a new business builder training. No, it's not on me, it's on you, right? Or if and so that's the thing that's tricky, is not taking ownership of the wrong thought. So maybe they haven't made the time yet. And I can tell you, I can almost guarantee that is the case. And the majority of people that you added and that I added to that referral link event probably didn't even read the posts yet. So that's why this is a better thought. So then the feeling, Val, when you think maybe they just didn't have the time yet, or maybe they just need some more information yet, whichever thought that you pick, how does that thought make you feel?
It makes me want to engage with them.
Mhm.
So be more active. I know that says action. Engagement is action, but empowered.
Empowered. Okay. And definitely not discouraged or disempowered, right? Which is what the other thought was doing. And then what happens is, you mentioned the action could be that you're going to engage with them more, which is what they need. Maybe it's that, what was the thing you said before about an action? There was something that you said. I don't think it was follow up again, but you could. That's another example of an action, to follow up again or to tag in a testimony. So maybe like if they are in Hope and Healing and there's a testimony like there was about on Tuesday about how this business, more than just the products, changed someone's life. Maybe you tag that person in that product and in that testimony, and you say, let's say this person's name is Letitia. I don't know if I said Latoya. I told my children I get tired of hearing Mom, Joshie, what's my name? Twyla. My children are only allowed to call me Twyla because I'm like, I'm not answering to that anymore. Just call me Twyla. And it's just fun and it switches things up, whatever. So let's just say this person's name is Letitia or Latoya. Then you might follow up with her again. You might tag her in that post and just say, like, Latoya, this made me think of you. I know you're interested in sharing more about the products, and I'm so excited to see what that does for you whenever you're ready. Something like that. And Val, I know you're going to do whatever that is well, because you're so authentic and you always lead with your heart, and people feel that. The problem is people are not going to get that. They're going to get shortchanged on the very thing that's going to bring them to sharing about the products if you're not doing those things. And then those things aren't going to be done when you're feeling broken down and discouraged and like what you're doing is not working. And that's why this is so powerful. There was something else that you said. I know that you had said maybe they just haven't looked over the information yet, or maybe they need more information. So that you could send a follow-up message that says, hey, Shannon, I don't want to, I know that you're probably super busy, but I know that you had reached out that you were interested and wanted to be added to that referral link event. And I was just curious, have you had a chance yet to look over any of the information in there? Now, maybe you already did that. Maybe that was your first follow-up. That tends to be mine. Let's say she saw the message and then she didn't answer again. I typically don't, I know you're saying you guys don't want to be annoying. That in and of itself is a really negative thought that needs to be changed, because I have never felt like I'm annoying somebody, because I know these products, this business, the referral program, any of it can change somebody's life. I am willing to feel any emotion to get to the level that I know God is calling me to in this business. So I'm willing to feel embarrassment. I'm willing to feel like I might be annoying somebody. I'm willing to embrace and feel it all, because it's all part of the journey. And I know that my feelings aren't actually indicators of truth. That's also just a story you're telling yourself, is I'm annoying somebody. If they have not said to you, Tanisha, you're annoying me. then that's just a story that you're telling yourself that's going to keep holding you back, right? I'm honestly, swear to God, in 7 almost years of network marketing, I don't think I've ever had somebody tell me that I was annoying. So really, again, it's important to understand that that's just a thought we're choosing, but it's a thought that's holding us back. I got to move on to the tactical stuff so that this call isn't too long, because it's already like 4 minutes away from when I wanted it to be over. But you can see that actions of following up again. Maybe the person just says, yeah, Val, I actually just haven't had any time to look at it. And you can say, hey, I understand, so you're busy. Listen, I know that you shared that you love these products. Let's say this is somebody already started the products, but you don't feel like you can afford to continue with them right now. I get that you're busy, which is why I thought that adding you to that chat would be perfect, because it was a quick 15-minute thing and you can look over the information in 2 minutes tops. Honestly, you could take your phone to the bathroom with you and look over it while you're on the toilet. So we're all doing that. And honestly, guys, that may not be for you, but I know Rachel will say it and I say it all the time, because but if it's not your personality, you don't have to say it that way. But sometimes this is an area of growth for us. I know it has been for Chelsea. One of the hardest things is for her to learn to be a little bit more bold. And that's the thing that she looks up to in me. And it's something that I don't have to try very hard at that. There are other things I have to try really hard at, like shutting my mouth. And I'm on that growth area right now. So we're all in that different way. And I'm just here to encourage you, whatever you need, area you need to grow in. But sometimes Rachel has told me that the reason she's here today is because I gave her a little bit of hard truth at the beginning when she commented on the post and got into the info page and didn't do anything with it. And then she was like, and I kind of had to just be like, hey, I know that you've shared that you have all of these symptoms that are negatively affecting your life. And I know that you're saying that you're busy and you don't have but I promise you have 2 minutes to read over information that's going to change your life and give you your health back. I promise you. Hey, and if you don't feel like you do, can I give you a quick call and tell you over the phone real quick, or while you're driving home from work? Like, we have to take charge, because people are mismanaging their time all the time. People are missing things in the messenger. They're seeing something and not responding. We are all inundated with information. It's too much. So anyways, what happens is Val could always say, hey, could I give you a quick call just to tell you, or you know what, hey, we actually have a sale that's ending in just another week. And it is the lowest pricing, like on April 1st, the pricing goes back up and there's free shipping and there's an extra 10% off. And it's a really good time to share. So would you be open to, the referral program really just starts with you sharing your story, either in a post or with a couple of friends and family members. If you haven't shared with any friends and family members yet, would you be okay with me drafting up a quick post for you and shooting it over that you can edit in less than 2 minutes and throw up? And then I'll take care of talking to everybody for you and helping them get signed up with your referral link so that you can get the cost of your products covered for the next 3 months. So see how that's like, that's just another layer of, because for me, when I have this intentional thought, it gets me curious. Okay, so if this is the real problem, it's not me. It's not the fact that I'm not doing a good job or I did something wrong. The real problem is people are busy. They haven't made the time. So now I can have intentional thoughts that are actually going to grow my business. Like, okay, how can I troubleshoot this? What would work for me? Does Kim sending me 10 voice clips about something work for me when I feel like I don't have time? No. Does Kim adding me to an info page and tagging me in posts that are 16 paragraphs long work for me when I'm busy? No. Okay, how could I do something very simple? I know Tanisha has done this with a couple of things where she's crafted something and just sent it in the messenger real quick, simple to somebody to get. Tanisha, remind me, was it like the ordering instructions, or there was something that you did super simple that you told me that you were doing that was working really well for people?
Yeah, it was basically, I just took the triplex part of the on the info page where it breaks down Probio5, BioCleanse, and the pink drink, and I just like summarized it even smaller, so it wasn't just like a ton of info, but it was just like, basically this is what these products do in a nutshell, and like, they weed seed and feed your gut, and this is why and how, and just like boom, boom, boom. Yep. And then from there, that's when people were like, oh, okay, and then I can just send them ordering instructions. They really didn't need all of the information about gut health, blood sugar, and inflammation. Some people do. Some people like think, they really do need that because they've never even like heard of it, even being a thing. So just kind of figuring out my audience and who, just who needs what based off of their lifestyle. Or some people I know are more research-based people. So like they want to read all that stuff, but some people are like, I trust you, just kind of give me a little synopsis and then kind of go from there. So,
Exactly. And I can guarantee that you didn't come up with that idea because you were feeling completely broken down and like you're a crappy person and a crappy leader and a crappy, like whatever, who can't, right? Because we can't create positive results from a negative mental space. We can't. And like Rachel, Candace, anybody, like if you have felt like I'm not going to make that goal, or I don't know that this is for me, or I can't do it, or whatever, or maybe this is taking me from my children, this is taking me from my family, I'm not sure God wants me to do this, I'm not sure I'm in the right vehicle. Any of these thoughts that we have, we literally cannot create. That people are feeling that when we go live, if we even are, or in our messages, like they feel, if I come on and I'm like at the end of the month, y'all, like you're doing such a great job. Hey, I need you guys to sign up more people. We haven't really done what we did. Like, you guys are going to feel, right? It's somehow it comes out. So it's important that we do this work ourselves. So the actions that she takes to engage with them more, to follow up maybe one more time, to tag them in something that is a testimony about what the referral. Val could go into the Healthy from the Inside Out info session and go into, I think it's guide 4, where we have saved each of your referral link stories. And she could tag the 5 people that didn't answer from the referral link event. And this is after she's already followed up, it didn't answer, whatever. And she could tag them in her story and say, tag their names, like Latoya, Letitia, Latuana, whatever. I just wanted you to see, I know you haven't had a chance to look over the information in the referral link event yet, but until you do, just wanted to share my story with you about how I was able to, make whatever it was, $800 or something in my first month without even sharing on social media. I would love to help you do this when you're ready. I can tell you that sometimes people just need that other touch point. We have to remember in sales, people need 7 to 11 touch points before they follow up. And we know that about the products, or before they buy, we know about the products, but we act like it isn't true about things like silver and sharing their story. And I can promise you, because apparently I'm a boss at developing silvers, it is more work than it seems like. It's not just a one tag and done. I have a number of steps that I'm going to share with you. And again, even today, when there's people that are filling out my forms, they're still sometimes not taking the step, and I have to spoon feed. It happens to me probably more than anybody else. So then the result of these things, of Val feeling like, oh, there's these people that didn't do anything. Well, maybe they haven't had the time yet. Okay, so how can I do some positive action? I can engage with them more. I'm feeling more empowered. It's not about me, it's about them. Okay, I can engage, I could tag, I could follow up again. And then the result is, I can guarantee you that at least one of those people is going to answer her or tell her something that like they really are interested. They're just so busy. And then she can be like, okay, well, would it work for you if I craft a quick post that you could make that could bring some referrals from friends and families your way? And then I can talk to them and help them get signed up for you. I can't tell you how many people are like, oh my gosh, yes, please. That would be amazing. Everybody, this is what we have to remind ourselves. Everybody wants $300 or $400 or $500. It doesn't matter how much money you make. Everybody wants that extra $300, $400. Okay, so now let me get into the tactical part of the call, because that part is really, really important. And I'm sorry it took longer than I thought, but Rachel, so we aren't looking up your nose. That's hysterical. I love you. Okay, so some of this is in my notes here and some of it's in my computer notes. So hold on. Okay, so the best way to get your business into momentum, the best, is to sign. Everybody wants to be in momentum, right? It's fun. It's like people are signing your team, you're duplicating, you're developing silvers, you're ranking up. It is fun. But the biggest thing you can do to get your team into momentum is to sign level 1. So that's recruiting. And some of you everybody on this call is doing well with that this month. And then get those people to silver. What you have to remember is it's not always a one and done of like, okay, I signed them this month and they're silver tomorrow. Like Chelsea and I were talking yesterday about something, and she was saying how like all the recruiting that's happening this month, that next month is really going to be the month that it blows up, because of the fact that a lot of those people that we want to help them share with 3 people. And then the entire team like blows up as that's happening all the way down. Right. So that's really where like the magic happens, but the recruiting has to come first. So we also have to have great systems, and we do, guys, but here you guys have got to find what works for you, because there are plenty of ways to get people to silver. What the thing is that stays the same for everyone in this business is that we do need to develop silvers to get into momentum and grow, to serve our people well. We need to also keep it simple. Less is more. So try not to overwhelm them with too much information. You can write the post for them. you could take a screenshot of part of a post from like our, Hope and Healing page about how to share with, I would ask them first instead of tagging them in 3 things. Would you be more open to sharing with some friends and family word of mouth if I tell you how to do that? Or would you be more open to just making a quick post on social media that might take you a minute or 2, and that would cast the widest net, and people that you don't even know who might be struggling with health issues might reach out for more information? Let them answer. Then if they say, I'm not really a social media person, or I'm not really a social person, I don't really want to talk to people about this, so maybe just a quick post. You need that information to then know, and then you can just go tag them in one post. Now, I will say that our posts are really long, and that's something that I am currently, like what Tanisha just said about how she kind of created a way to share more simply. This is what I need leaders on the team to help me do. I am constantly pumping out content, running events, running business chat, running training. It is a lot, but that's the kind of leader I want to be for my team, is to constantly be doing all that work for you guys. However, what I need help with is when you guys see something and you're like, okay, that needs to be edited, or we don't have a testimony on that, put it up, throw it up, get it in there. And I want to hear ideas. And if you're like, you know what, I love what Kim has here, let me take this and just put this onto an image. So what I was going to tell you guys is one of my ideas for how we can simplify, and I'm happy to work on this week unless somebody else wants to, is that we can take just like that referral link event. That was my idea on the first, and Chelsea helped me like birth it on the second. Like we worked better together as a team. It's always that way. And so, and now we have that as a resource to use moving forward. I think it would be a great idea to make one image about how to share on social media, one image about how to share off, like a Canva image. Like, you know how we have that triplex getting started and there's a bunch to type, but it's literally like one graphic. I think it would be really wise for us to do that. So when somebody says that, we can just send, because here's the thing, our businesses are always needing to evolve, because what we did that was working may not continue to work. And as the leader of this team, a lot of you guys might have, like Tanisha said, some person might want all this information and somebody might not. So it's our job as business owners to make sure we have something that can serve them both. So I think having an image would be great. And I also think having an image like we shared in the referral link event about here's a template to make your first post. Actually, we already have that. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to put that up and I'm going to tweak that post down, or if anybody wants to go in and edit it and help me, feel free. But I think it'd be a great idea to have that. So when someone's like, oh, I just don't know what to say, or doing a post seems so overwhelming. I'll be honest, when we go tag them in the post about how to make the first post, it is overwhelming. But here's what I can tell you. I put everything, every detail in that post, because I found that people like Val maybe would feel like almost anxious, or they would not take the action if they didn't feel like they knew everything that was going to happen ahead of time. Val, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe that's not you, but I know that like I wanted to know, and I found my people, the information helps them take action because they're like, oh, okay, like Ashley, my neighbor across the street, she read that entire thing. She wanted to know exactly when she posted it, that if somebody commented below it, she knew what to say. Like, okay, I'll message you. And then she knew to go into the 3-way message and start one with me and what to send there. That helps take the fear, because some people are not going to share because they just feel too much uncertainty. Like, and I don't know how to share, and they think they need to be an expert. So we have to know what's going through their head. And with things like the referral program, there's a lot of mind drama in people's heads. Was there in yours? Because there was in mine. Again, building this case that it's not about us, it's about other people. It wasn't about Chelsea. I truly thought that she was trying to get me to do a business and I didn't want to do a business. So like there was all that stuff and it had nothing to do with her. So anyways, that's one thing I can share is that we can be doing tactically, is that we can have just a quick image to share to make it easier for people. But also, you guys, when people do make that first post, so we can write the post for them. We can share in 3 ways for them with their people and have this conversation. We can tag their people in the info session. So when you have somebody that shares with a friend or family member, are you checking our info page once a day or every other day to see if any of your people have invited anybody? As a golden above, it is your job to monitor the people on that page that are being added, not just by you, but by your people. I had that happen yesterday. I found somebody was sitting there for a week for one of my golds that didn't know. And so it's important that you guys know to monitor that, because if you're encouraging your people to share with friends and family, I'm encouraging my people to invite friends and family all the time to that info page. So I have to be checking and making sure that they do. And then I tag those people like they are mine. Okay. So like Candace doesn't just see that Missy added 3 people, like she might go approve them and then tell Missy, hey, I just added Jennifer, Sarah, and Riley. Like, are you going to tag them or do you want me to? And for my people that are building the business, like Missy, she's probably going to tag them herself. But when I have someone trying to go silver, they don't know where to tag people. So I would immediately approve those people and go into the Candida post and say, welcome, tag, whatever their name is. And then I would tag the person that invited them and say, Jennifer and I are so glad you're here. Please comment below, so, and then usually I reach out in a message to let them know too, because it's our job to help our people get those referrals signed up, right? So it's also our job to check in on those first 3 people. I want to make sure everybody hears this part and that we are clear. The best way to get into momentum is to help your people refer at least 3 people and to start getting silvers. Those people are usually not trying to build a business, right? So like Candace, Val, whatever, I took care of your first 3 people for you. And then I asked you, like a lot of people need to see like, oh, I got that. So I add those people to my checklist. They are like a level 1. I treat maybe like, whoever you guys have that use. Okay. Like, so Val just had Sandra sign a couple of people. Those couple of people are going to go on her checklist and she's going to tag them in the post in the info in the Hope and Healing page. She's going to get them in there, get them the link. She's going to send them the starting questions. She's going to send them starting instructions, unless she has asked Sandra and like, do you want me to do this? Or do you want to check in on these people? But most people are not trying to build this as a business day one. They need you to do that stuff for them. This is a lot of work developing silvers, but I can promise you that it is worth it. The opportunities for your family, the income, the trips, I can promise you, and helping your people stay on the product, all of it is worth it. The work that you put into it. Once they've gotten their 3 and they've gone silver, just like you, a lot of times they're like, oh, wow, I just made $350 from one post. Can you tell me more about this business? Like, I'm interested. That was my story. And it might be theirs, but I make it really simple for them. Then if they want to continue sharing, I tag them in information about how to take care of their people, and I connect them so that I get them into our team page. I instruct them how to take care of their people after the 3. But most people that go silver, just being honest with you guys, they're not going to do the business. They just got their 3. The majority of people, we are looking for the diamonds and the roughs, right? We all want the Candace, the Vale, the Tanisha, the me, the Rachel. They're there, and you're only going to get them by getting good at developing silvers. But we have to be willing to just take care of those people, because a lot of times then they're going to see the possibilities with the business, and then they're going to want to learn how to do it themselves. So this is just part of our customer care on our team. All right. We have to babysit that first post. When people make that first post, you guys, it is so important that you know when your people share. I tell my people to message me the post before they put it up, not to be a control freak, but I want to make sure they're not saying plexus in there and triplex and all this stuff that's going to make people just go to the website and not even reach out to them, right? I want to make sure that they tag me and that I know that they tag. I want them to tag me so that I know the minute that post goes up, and I tell them to message me when they make that first post so that I can drop the link in our team chat and immediately get people to love on it, because 24 hours later is nowhere near as good is when we get a lot of comments. We all know that on that post quick. And there's people that are saying, this did so much for me. This did so much for me, right? It builds a lot of credibility. These are all parts. So also we need to have simple systems for getting our people to share that are duplicatable. So guys, if what you're doing in 3-way messages isn't simple or duplicatable, if you are sending, if like Rachel has Allison and Allison makes her first post, and then Allison has 3 people reach out and there's a 3-way started, and Rachel sends like 6 voice clips to this person, that could potentially really be overwhelming to that new person, but also it's going to be overwhelming to Allison, who's going to feel like, I don't know anything Rachel just said. I don't know any of that stuff about gut health, and I don't feel like I could do what she just did. If what you're doing is not something that every single person who just signed up could be doing, you have no business doing it. It has to be simple and duplicatable for you to have success in network marketing. So your people will think they need to be an expert if that's what you do. So again, I want you guys to have the mindset right first of, this is not like about you. You're not doing something wrong. Like most of the time, because that's the work. Our work is the inner work in taking charge of our thoughts so that we don't have the spiral of negative feelings that leave us taking negative action or no action at all. When you are feeling encouraged and empowered and you're like, okay, it's not me, maybe they just need more information, you're able to be curious in your brain. Okay, if this was me and I didn't, like, what would I do if I reached out to Kim and I was interested in the referral link event or the program? And then I got like, what would I want someone to do for me if I was in there and then I didn't answer? Because the truth is, what I'm doing for my people may not work for you, because you're different than me. Maybe you speak differently than me. You attract different people. You think differently. So you have to learn to get that beat on your people. Like Tanisha said, okay, some of my people really like to do research. They want those long posts. Some of my people don't. I found the same thing. So I have to know, and I have to kind of share either way. So the other thing is that you need to be passionate and confident about getting your people to silver. And I don't think any of you are right now. Right. And that comes from having the right thoughts around it. Like, I can do this. There are people waiting for me to help them get the cost of their products covered. That is a powerful and a different story than nobody wants to get the cost of their products. I don't think anybody wants to go silver. Nobody's using their referral link, right? So they need to borrow your confidence, because guess what? When people are thinking about making a post, guys, they're nervous. They're scared. Maybe they've done it before. They've done network marketing before and they're afraid they're going to fail. They think it's not going to work for them. So you've got to be so confident and upbeat and happy and encouraged for them. And you got to have that strong belief. So another thing that you could do is, I heard Emily Gibson share this on a call, and I love this idea. She said that on day one, when she follows up with her people, like, hey, did you start today or did you start yesterday? Like, we obviously need to know when people start so that we can tag them in that first few days check-in. She said that she's like, send me a picture of you and your pink drink, like on day one. And the cool thing is then she actually has a picture that they can use in their first post. I was like, that's super smart, right? But what she said that she does is, she's like, let's say I haven't heard back the next day. She's like, I follow up again, because this is what we do. Again, I'm willing to be annoying or whatever. Like, she follows up and she's like, hey, how's your pink drink? Where's my picture? And then if they haven't sent the picture again, she said that she sends a picture of herself drinking the pink drink. And she's like, here's mine. Where's yours? Happy day. And I gotta tell you, I love her personality because it's a lot like mine. And so she's like, but the cool thing is, when you get that picture, now you have a picture that when you do talk about the referral program, or when they're telling you that their headaches are gone and they're sleeping better and they're feeling great 1 weekend or 2 weeks in, and you're like, hey, I love that you are feeling so much better. And I know that there are plenty of people that you know that are struggling with some of the same symptoms you had, that you could potentially help start feeling better too. Would you be open to me helping you turn your last message to me into a quick post so that we can share and help some people that you know? And then when she's like, yeah, I mean, I'm feeling better, I'm all about helping somebody else feel better, you already have that picture. Like, great, we already have this awesome picture you sent of you pinking your drink. Do you want to craft up the post? Here's an example, or do you want me to do it for you? And so that is a really good thing that you can do, guys. And I'll tell you, also, I was listening to a training about this, and she was saying it's so important that we watch our own mindset, like I've already shared, around helping other people make money with this, because she's like, a lot of times we say things like to our clients, like, I know you don't want to do this as a business, and I know you're really busy. I actually just said that when I told Val about following up. I know you're really busy, so I probably shouldn't have done that. And there are so many negative connotations that make people, like, we don't want to play into their excuses, right? Like, we don't want to be like, oh, I know you're too busy for this. Like, no, everyone has time for what matters to them, right? So we want to be that. So she's just saying, make sure that you don't put things into people's minds and have these negative, like, I know you don't want it as a business. Do we know that yet? Did they ever tell us I'm not interested in this as a business? Now, if they did, that's different, but most people don't, and we're still saying it. So I place emphasis on helping people get the cost. So this is kind of some of my closing here. I place emphasis on helping people get the cost of their products covered, because that's what I needed. If that is not what you needed, or if maybe it's not that you needed it financially, but you had the money, but maybe you just didn't want the guilt of feeling like, my husband's working so hard and we've already spent so much money on my wellness, and like, I don't want this to be another out-of-pocket financial burden for our family. Like, or maybe it's like, there's a purpose. You just wanted to help people and you feel like you're not really helping or doing anything as a mom, because we're doing the most important work, but sometimes it feels like, whatever it is, that's the story you need to be sharing with your new VIPs and with your people, because that's going to resonate with them. Okay. So I'm leveraging this story because it's mine, but what is true for you? Why did you make that first post? Like, that is what your people need you sharing. And that's why I want to be raising up leaders in these pages where you guys are going live in the page, or you are posting, or you're inviting to this event, and it has your story, and because other people under you and other people on this team might relate to your story more than mine. So there's 2 ways to get people to silver. You can get them to silver once they get signed up and they make a post like right off the bat, and they tag you about what they're starting and why. In our Hope and Healing Wholesale page, under guide 3, there's a video about how to get the cost of the products covered. The second, I think, post is the one about how to share on social media. And if you scroll all the way up to the top of the comments, there is and I'm going to make a new post that just has templates of first posts, so it's easier to find than people scrolling up all these areas of growth, guys. There's so many things. If you ever think of something or see something, please just tell me and be like, hey, can I go take these and just put them in? Please do. But this is something that I have had girls who made a first post that did not even try the products yet. I got the cost of my products covered without even having the products. Okay. So that is very possible. So be careful that you aren't telling yourself that it's not possible. That is one way to get someone to silver, is them just saying, I was struggling with this, and they insert their story. But then I saw my friend Tanisha or Kim or Candace sharing about these 3 products that were helping her with blah, 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 blah. I reached out for more information, got added to her info page, and learned about how gut health, blood sugar, and inflammation were at the root of literally all of my symptoms, and saw countless testimonies of people that these products have helped and who kicked their symptoms. Super excited to start these today. Thanks, Tanisha, for getting me started, or whatever. That is a post that people that are whatever Tanisha's story was that she inserted, that it helped Tanisha with anxiety. Let's just say like my story, like hair loss, sleeping better, feeling better. Those people in her network that are experiencing those things are going to be like, oh, that's why our post example works so well, is because then but they also could potentially relate to Tanisha's level 1, her VIP, that's sharing, I'm struggling with indigestion or bloating or IBS or constipation. And like, I decided I can't wait to see what these do for me. Other people struggling with those things are now potentially going to reach out and be like, what are these supplements? Right. So we're kind of hitting 2 different birds there. So that's one way to get your people to silver, is helping them helping them make that first post off the bat. The other way is you can wait until they start feeling better. The only thing is sometimes there's a little bit more of a time crunch on your end with like, it might be the end of the month, right? When like, or 3 weeks in, and then there's only a month before our promotions end, or maybe we don't have another info event, or maybe and so sometimes it can be pressure, but a lot of times we're getting, if we are doing well with our customer care and checking in on people once, and then that first 3 days, and that 1 week mark, and that 2 week mark, and there's a 10-day message too, you probably have people sharing within their first 2 weeks positive things they've noticed, whether it's no heartburn, whatever, right? Are you messaging people? And this is what I did the other day that worked really well, you guys. And I'm going to actually read you the message so that you actually have the actual thing. If you want to write this down, this was simple, and it's not that my words are the only right words. You can do this however you want to, but there's a girl who just asked me to make her post for her today. She's one of the ones I was telling you about. She's had some incredible changes, and I messaged her and she was telling me like, I've definitely seen some positive changes, blah, 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 blah. And she's pregnant, and she's like, I'm going to the bathroom every day and even 2 times, which definitely helps with all the pregnancy hormones and the backup that I was having. My face is getting better acne wise. It usually gets a lot worse with pregnancy. There was 2 other things she said in the message above, sorry. Anyways. And so I said to her, she actually, how you guys, do you ever have people that you message them a question or how they're feeling and they literally don't answer you? Like maybe they just say, okay, so am I just supposed to stay at 3 BioCleanse, or am I supposed to go up? I will answer their question. And then I say, so can you share a quick update on what you've been noticing lately and any positive changes? We have to pull people's teeth. They are so negative, to get them to share what they're noticing. Guys, I'm doing the work. So these are all areas potentially that you can grow in, that I've had to grow in. I have to get them to focus on what is changing. Candace, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. I'm sure you won't. She came over to my house. The products had been working for her for several weeks. She was feeling really great. And then she was like, she went through another layer of detox, and she's like, I'm just not sure that Plexus is working anymore. And I'm like, hold on. Now, again, this is a thought, right? But the thought was stemming from a circumstance. And the circumstance was, there was a couple of things that she was still struggling with. I was like, okay, so you're only like 4 weeks in. There are a couple of things you're struggling with. You might be going through another layer of detox, but I'm like, but what's true? Is it true when you say it's not working anymore? It implies that it was and it stopped. How does something work and then it stops working, right? So it's kind of like, let me remind you, when we looked back, that all of the things that she shared, she basically wrote a post to me about all the positive changes, but how quickly we, even us guys as ambassadors, are willing to disregard what's working with the products. And I've done it too. I had all these wins, and then I felt like my hair was still falling out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what if Plexus isn't really working? What if this is a big sham? What if I'm telling people to start these products and it's not like this is the negative minds that we're talking about. And it's what the enemy wants. We've got to take our thoughts captive. I'm like, so I have to remind my people in these weekly check-ins, hey, so I answer their question. Hey, so tell me more about what you've been noticing lately. What's changing? What's positive? I have to do it a lot. And then she's like, okay, yeah. So I definitely don't feel like I have low blood sugar. It was an everyday thing when I felt super low, lightheaded. Oh, anyways, that was something else. She's like, my anxiety is 80% gone. I have it once in a while, but there's no reason for it, versus in the past, it would just come out of the blue all the time. That's life-changing alone, right? She goes, I'm going to the bathroom every day and even 2 times, which helps with the pregnancy hormones and the backup. My face is getting better, blah, 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 blah. She said, definitely experiencing lots of positive changes in my health. So this is what I said, write this down. I will take a screenshot right now and I'll send it in our gold chat. That's awesome. Girl, you have an incredible story with these products already. Can I help you turn that message into a quick post to share on social media that might help some of your friends or family members start healing and feeling better too? We all know people struggling with health problems, and I would love to help you help some of them and get your products for free. It's so easy. Are you telling your people it's easy? Because sometimes you aren't, because you don't believe it's easy, because it hasn't been easy for you yet, because you haven't done it yet. And so now there's this negative story you're telling yourself that it's not easy to get people to silver. And then you don't believe it. So you're not going to tell your people. Okay, so like I'm telling her it's easy because I believe it's easy because I've helped lots of people do it, but you've got to create the action so that you can say that too. So borrow my belief because it is. But this, I'm going to say it again, and then I'll send it in the messenger. I said, that's awesome. Girl, you have an incredible story with these products already. Can I help you turn that into a quick post to share on social media that might help some of your friends or family members to get started healing and feeling better too? You probably could have left it at that. I'll probably bet my business coaches would have said it's better to do that because leaving it with a question makes them feel like they need to respond. But I added,
Can you just say it one more time?
Yes. Girl, you have an incredible story already. Can I help you turn that into a quick post to share on social media that might help some of your friends or family members start to heal and feel better too? We all know people struggling with health problems, and I'd love to help you help some of them and get your products for free. And I ended it with, it's so easy, but you could end it with, are you interested, or whatever. Now, here's the cool thing. She responded within 2 minutes, which is why I love doing these texting check-ins. Sure, sounds good. The more people that feel better, the better. But guys, you don't get that result without that message I sent, right? Like it's our job to keep planting seeds, to keep following up, to take those check-ins and turn it around. Wow, that's incredible. These products are already doing for you. Even if she just said, I haven't had heartburn. One of my ladies this week said, I haven't had heartburn since I started for the first time in my life. Wow. Do you know my belief? The more people I sign, the more my belief builds, the more people I want to sign up. And that's why I'm so heavy on the products and I'm so heavy on recruiting. I don't really try to build a team. I'm not really trying to get people I'm trying to start, but I just am so in love with these products that I swear I would never take, that I want every single person in the world to have them because I really believe that they're going to make them feel better. Like, so, and the more people I sign, the more it builds that belief. And then the more that I'm like, okay, like she's feeling better. Let's help her help some friends. Intrinsically in all of us, we are good at heart and we want to help others. We love to share things that are helping us. You've got to remind yourself that people love to share things that are helping them. And you can say that to that person. Like find the dialogue that will work for you. Don't feel like you have to say what I'm saying exactly, but take action. If it helps you to have a message like that, to take action, and then just know that you're going to be finding out what works for you as you go. Maybe Val sends that message and somebody gives a good response, but then maybe Val's like, I just want to say like, let's just say her friend's name is, I got to stop it with the Twylas and the Toys and the Tanisha. So her friend, Annabelle, and she's like, Annabelle, you have the best heart. Like, no, I love that these products are helping you feel better. As your friend, it makes me feel so good knowing like motherhood is hard enough. And the fact that your life is getting a little bit easier and you feel more joyful every day because of the fact that I shared about these with you is like such a blessing. Hey, I know that you know some people that are also struggling in motherhood or not feeling their best. I would love, your heart is so pure. And I love that your heart is always to help others. And I think that like, I would love to help you share a post of what these products are doing with you, or share with a couple of friends and family, or host a sip and see for you and see if like you have some friends that you could help start feeling better. Don't worry. Like I can help you write this post, or I would run this event for you, or I will share this. And that's the biggest thing I always tell everybody, I'm going to do it all for you. Like, because I don't want them to feel, everybody's busy, guys. everything new feels overwhelming and it's easy for them to shrink away. So it's part of your job to make it like, I'm going to do this for you. I will follow up with these people for you. I will message them for you. If anybody like, but when people start to message, I will message them. I will do it all. Don't even worry. You're just going to connect them to me, or you can pop them into our info page. I'll tag them. But just so you know, these are steps. This is why I want to run this call, the tactical stuff, like the mindset is the biggest part. There are things that we can be doing better. Always. That will always be true for me. But we don't want to have thoughts that make us feel beaten up. And I also do that sometimes. I had a couple, 3 actually big things that happened about a month ago, and I felt very broken down. And it would have been easier to exit stage left. And I literally told Chelsea I was contemplating quitting Plexus, because when it taps into something deep in us, some of us feel intrinsically unworthy. Maybe something happened in childhood. There are issues. We are all fighting our own battles, and businesses like this bring that stuff to the forefront, which is why I say that network marketing is a personal growth plan with a compensation plan attached. Your business is never going to grow more than you do. We have to be leaning into the hard, and we have to do that work on ourselves. But as you do that thought work, I love Val's model. I had 5 people interested from their referral link, and then nobody reached out. Thought, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not doing the right things. Maybe like I can't develop. So whatever the thoughts are, or maybe the thought is, maybe they just haven't had the time to look at the information yet. Maybe the information that was in there isn't exactly what they needed, and they need me to tell them something else. Maybe they are afraid, and they just need me to ask them, hey, I know you're interested in this. I know you're loving the products, and you have people that you know that are struggling, and you were added to that referral link event. And then I haven't heard back from you. Can you share with me? I hope you feel safe enough to share this with me. Like at this point, what's holding you back from making that first post or from sharing? That's one of the most powerful follow-ups I do. And I'm always amazed at what comes through when I say, what's holding you back? And sometimes people are like, I'm just so busy. Other times it's honestly, I don't know what to say. I'm not good at writing posts, and they need us to say, hey, I could do it for you. Other times it's, hey, I've done network marketing a couple of times in the past and it never works for me. And I'm just afraid that people are going to judge me if I put up another post. We never know what's going on unless we ask. So just remember, these are real people with a pulse, with feelings, with thoughts, and try not to make it about you, because that's the biggest problem that we do with our mind and our thoughts is we make this about us, and it's not about us. And you're never going to see your own potential in this business or in general when you're making it about you, because the truth is it's about them. Okay. I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to stop the recording. Poor Jill. She'll be like, what? An hour and a half long training? Like an hour.